Well, we're hoping to close escrow by Friday.
When it comes to wholesaling real estate, after you find a good deal and a cash buyer, you need a wholesaler-friendly title company to close the transaction. The right title company will result in a smooth transaction. The wrong title company can kill your deal. So get ready to look over my shoulder and watch me get a wholesaler-friendly title company to close my wholesale deal coming up.
This video is brought to you by 10K Club, a program that pays you $10,000 for finding ugly houses. Learn more at my10kcheck.com.
If you're new here, I'm Jerry Norton, and I went from dead broke to millionaire flipping houses, and after doing 1,000 deals, I created this channel to help you master the art of wholesaling and flipping real estate so you can live your dream life. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon to get notified when new videos are released. To close a real estate transaction, you need a closing company to handle the transfer of ownership from the seller to the buyer. Now, some states use title companies, some use attorneys, and some use escrow companies. Google your state to see what is used, but they all have the same function: to close a real estate transaction. For simplicity, I'm going to refer to the closing company as the title company on this video. When wholesaling, due to the nature of assigning a contract, choosing a wholesaler-friendly title company can make or break your deal. It's that important. So let me take a minute and explain the process, and then we're going to cut to a call where you'll see me discuss a real live deal with my title closing agent so you can get a better idea of what to say and how it works. Now, I'm also going to reference several videos and free resources to help you throughout the process. First, let's discuss the 5 steps to doing a wholesale deal and where the title company plays a role. Step number 1 is to find a good deal with a motivated seller and execute a purchase and sale agreement for, let's say, $100,000. Now, if the property is on market, the real estate agent will handle the contract using their state-approved forms, so you don't have to worry about it. If the property is off market, like in my case, you have to provide the contract because the seller doesn't have one. Now, be sure to stay to the end of this video and I'll show you how to get my contract for free. And if you want to know how to fill out a purchase and sale agreement, I did a video where I break it down in detail. I'll put the link to that video in the description below for you. Once you have an executed contract with the seller, step 2 is what's called open escrow. Now, this means you get a copy of your contract to a title, escrow, or attorney, depending on your state, and they will do a title search and prepare for a closing based on the close of escrow date in the contract that you agreed to with the seller. Typically, that is 30 days, but it could be as soon as 10 days to 2 weeks. Now, you want to open escrow right away because if there are issues with title, you want to know about it as soon as possible. For example, the seller isn't on title, or there are back taxes that need paid, or any number of issues that could prevent the sale from happening. And in case you're wondering, the fee to pay for the title company to close a transaction is not typically paid up front at the time of opening escrow, but rather paid at the closing by either the buyer or the seller or both. And I've never paid for title work for a deal that did not close. Okay, step 3, after you've opened escrow, it's time to find your cash buyer. And once you do, you'll need to execute an assignment agreement. Now, this contract states that the cash buyer agrees to take over the existing contract for a fee. So for example, if the original contract is for $100,000 and you assign your contract for $115,000, the cash buyer is agreeing to pay the seller $100,000 as per the original contract. And then you, the wholesaler, would earn a $15,000 wholesale fee. The assignment agreement is a simple document. Mine is only 1 page, but you have to provide that to your cash buyer. Now stick around and I'll show you how to get mine for free. And if you want to know how to fill out an assignment agreement, I did a video where I break it down in detail. Link to that video in the description below. Step 4, once you have an executed assignment contract with your cash buyer, you need to get a copy of that to the same title company that you opened escrow with originally, and the cash buyer will need to give a substantial, non-refundable earnest money deposit also to the same title company. Now, I typically ask for $5,000. That commits your cash buyer to the deal. If you're unsure why a cash buyer pays earnest money or why it should be non-refundable, I have a video that explains all of those reasons in detail, link in the description. So now your wholesaler-friendly title company has the original contract with the seller for $100,000 and the assignment contract with the cash buyer for $115,000. If your title company is wholesaler friendly, they know exactly what to do. And if you're wondering, because I know you are, where to find a wholesaler friendly title company in your state, I have a list that covers almost every state. I'll put a link to that in the description below for you. Step number 5 is to close the transaction. The title company is going to coordinate with the seller to sign for the closing of $100,000. More than likely, the title company will create a separate closing statement so the seller sees just his side of the transaction. This prevents the seller from seeing your wholesale fee, which is on the buyer side of the transaction. Then the title company will schedule for the cash buyer to sign for $115,000. On the buyer side statement, there will be a line item that shows the assignment fee of, in this example, $15,000, and upon receiving funds of $115,000 plus any closing fees from the cash buyer, the title company will distribute your check for $15,000 either by wire or check. Now, if you do not want the cash buyer to see your $15,000 wholesale fee, you can structure what I call a double closing in escrow, where you do 2 separate closings and you use the cash buyer's funds to fund both transactions. Of course, I did a video that breaks it down in detail. You know the drill, link in the description. Now, if you'd like to get a copy of my purchase and sale agreement and my assignment agreement for free, leave a comment and say, Jerry, you are a flipping genius. Give me those free contracts and I'll give you the download link. Now let's talk about my deal for a minute and then cut to a live call I did with my wholesaler-friendly title agent. Now on this deal, I had the original contract with the seller for $206,000 and a cash buyer for $231,000 who put down a $5,000 non-refundable deposit. And as you can see right here, that gave me a $25,000 assignment fee on this deal. And this was a fast closing, only 2 weeks from the original contract. So to recap, I opened escrow, I got title a copy of both contracts, and the buyer turned in his $5,000 earnest money to title right away. Then I did a call with the title agent and my dispositions manager a few days before the scheduled closing to make sure both the seller and the buyer were ready and everything was on track. Take a listen to that call. Well, thanks for your help with this one. Are we still looking good for Friday?
Well, the seller is having a hard time figuring out the mortgage information.
For the payoff?
So, yeah, for the payoff. It is a reverse mortgage, and it does look like it was sold to a company called Novad. So he's going to try calling them. I did let him know I can call them, but I'm going to have the social security numbers for the original people. So he's working on it.
Okay. Yeah.
So that might be the only hiccup. Otherwise, we should be okay.
Okay. Everything else is good though, like title search and report and all that.
Yeah. The title search just reflected that one mortgage, and there's an HOA. The buyer is totally ready.
Okay.
He's, getting a hard money loan, and his hard money lender is ready. So.
Okay, so you've talked to them. You've talked to them about the new loan coming for the hard money.
Yes.
And they're ready to go too.
They are. They're ready to go.
Okay, and you're good on the original contract and the assignment. No questions there. Everything's clear there.
Yeah, everything is good.
You're going to put the assignment fee as a line item on the buyer's closing statement, right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
So,
yeah, but you could have it where when he comes in and signs, he just signs his side.
So I virtually never let buyers and sellers run into each other at the office. I avoid that at all costs.
Yeah, perfect. So Spencer, yeah, so they'll sign separately at different times.
Yeah, and if somebody does need a mobile notary, we absolutely can do that. There's not even an extra fee for it, so that's easy. Okay. Yeah. So, but I do that as I find it seldom a good idea to let buyers and sellers run into each other. So.
Yeah. Okay. Penny's done this a long time, Spencer.
Yeah.
Penny, do you send out the statements for us to see?
Yes, I do.
Do you have those have you sent those out or not yet?
Not yet. I mean, I've just kind of sent out some samples that show what like assignments usually end up looking like. So I'm still waiting for the homeowners association. Other than that, it's just that payoff with the seller, which really doesn't affect anything but the seller's bottom line. So once I get that, the HOA, I can send out a settlement statement for you guys to see, and I'll be able to finish up the buyer side as well at that point.
Yeah.
So.
And what time is that scheduled for now?
Well, we're hoping to close escrow by Friday. The buyer I'll schedule as soon as that homeowners association is in. Mm-hmm. So I may actually be able to have him sign as early as sometime tomorrow, probably Thursday. He's got very little to sign. His hard money lender loan docs are only like 13 pages.
Okay.
And then the seller, I'm going to reach out again to him tomorrow. I do want to go ahead and have him sign at least the notarized documents by Thursday, even if I don't have his payoff. That way, when the payoff does come in, we can just move to close right away.
Okay. Okay.
So, but he was going to do some digging this afternoon, and we were going to talk tomorrow morning again on it. So. Gotcha.
And then once it's funded, then Spencer, she just cuts a check for the assignment amount.
Yeah, I'll actually send you guys a form just to keep on file. That way, if you want to wire it, I'll have the wire instructions and or delivery instructions. So,
yeah.
And I'll get that out to you guys here in the next day or so as well.
Perfect. Sounds good. Well, let's hope that Spencer, I'd also follow up with our seller to make sure he gets that payoff.
Right.
Well, this sounds great. I think everything looks good. Everything's on track. Thank you.
Yep. And as soon as that homeowners association is in, I will get an actual settlement statement that is, specifically applicable to this, so that you can see that.
Perfect.
And then we'll go from there.
Great.
Awesome. Sounds good. Okay. So a few things were left until it was ready to close. Tyler's waiting for the HOA fees that need to be paid, as well as the payoff from the seller's lender. So if there are any existing liens, such as a mortgage in this case, then that will need to be paid off out of the proceeds of the seller's funds. And in fact, I did a video that explains in detail how to wholesale a house where the seller has an existing mortgage, link in the description. And did you notice that the buyer is using hard money to purchase the home, but that's not a problem. His lender is ready to go. The cool thing is you don't need to attend the closing unless you want to. The title company handles everything and will cut you a check and overnight it to you, or what I prefer is they'll wire it right to my account. So I hope this video helped you see the steps to wholesaling a house and where the title company fits into the picture. If you're still working on your first deal, I want you to watch a video where I show you exactly how to do your first deal with zero marketing budget. Now watch that video now, and if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to my channel. With 600 videos, this is the #1 channel on YouTube for all things wholesaling and flipping, and I'll see you on the next video.